Good afternoon, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about the common mistakes when it comes to pricing your art. I think by far the first mistake is pricing your art with hourly rate plus material cost. If you are a carpenter, okay. If you are a construction worker, okay. Or artisan, yes, maybe. Amazing, definitely. But if you are an artist, painter, conceptual artist, video artist, installation artist, hourly rate is very hard to even define, because imagine you spend 5 hours meditating thinking about a project idea. Do you calculate it as an hourly rate or not? Also, the more you work, the more efficient you get. And guess what? You spend less time. Would you price your art less because you're more efficient? Of course not. You don't want to penalize yourself for being efficient. But then would you charge the same and then you raise your hourly rate? I think hourly rate is such an employee mentality, and now you are an independent artist, you are a business owner. You should think more like efficiency, production cost, and perhaps the value you bring to the customers, your product positioning. It's a lot of different things, and I think the hourly rate is not really suitable when it comes to pricing your art. And the same way happens to pricing per inch. And I think pricing per inch is a very good way to evaluate a secondary market, let's say auction house, to evaluate the price of a artwork. But you are the primary market, you are selling your work. So you know the story behind, you know how much money and time you spend in the research and development and many other things that perhaps will influence the pricing of it. So don't price per inch or per hour. This is like a rather old way to price it. Nowadays, our materials are so dynamic, and we have a machine-assisted production with 3D printer, and it just doesn't make sense anymore to calculate the price in the old way. The second mistake is to price your art significantly higher or lower than your peers or than your competition. If you want to price it higher, you need to be able to defend your price. In the video, I talked about how to defend your price and different ways to justify your pricing strategy. If you want to price it lower, like by flooding the market, to disrupt the market. If you are providing other kind of products like food, water, telecommunication like free telecom in France, or like rain air, transportation, that's actually very good, because you are providing more opportunities for the working class or like lower social class to enjoy the convenience of the modern technology. But you are selling a luxury product, and if you want to flood the market with a lower pricing and dumping, even, we say killing your enemy by 1,000 and losing your own soldier by 800. And I think dumping as the pricing strategy is one of the least innovative ways to pricing your product. And if you can avoid it, definitely avoid it. And the third mistake is a bit complicated, I want to say, is the anchor pricing, of becoming the anchor in the art gallery. Anchor pricing is basically the first impression bias to pricing. Imagine you walk into a luxury store selling watches and jewelries, and if you were presented the first watch priced at $10,000, and you're like, oh, that's lovely, but it's too expensive, I cannot afford it. Then they bring similar watch, almost the same, that does the same thing, for $2,000, equally beautiful, and guess what? Likely you buy the $2,000 watch, and the $10,000 watch is the anchor. It's the cost of the anchor to promote another product that is the best alternative, well, which seems to be the best alternative. At least that's what the sellers want the customers to believe. And perhaps in an art gallery, your artworks, not maybe all of them, but some of them, are the anchor of the gallery. And it means that by sacrificing your artwork, by not selling it and keeping it like an anchor, anchored to the wall, they are selling other artists. One day I walked into an art gallery and I see one wall with a young Spanish artist priced quite high, and he was up and coming. And on the other wall I saw old German master, Max Ernst. And then I found out the price of the Max Ernst is significantly lower than the local emerging artist. And guess what? I bought a piece of Ernst instead of the local artist, because the local artist in this case, I believe it is used as an anchor. So make sure that when you're working with an art gallery or art dealer, your work is not the anchor, and make sure that you know the prices of other artists so you can position yourself, strategically among others. Last but not the least, I want to talk about occult pricing. There's not really such a term. I think I just made it up. Occult pricing is mysterious pricing or like undisclosed pricing, which is quite common in art galleries, art fairs. And the art fair I went last month, Arco, the biggest art fair in Southern Europe, all of the art galleries, I would say 99%, don't disclose their price on the wall. And they have perhaps a folio or catalog with prices. And I think, okay, that's still okay. The worst is that when people ask, okay, can I see the list of prices? And you're like, oh, I have it in my head, or I don't have it, or I can't show you. This is the worst because they don't trust you. You just look at their face and say a number. And guess what? They might be thinking, oh, are you pulling my legs? If your art price is not disclosed in major websites or in some other kind of third-party evaluation companies, then the only reliable source of this pricing is your own website. And if you don't put your price on your own website, you are not going to be selling, and also people are not going to trust your prices and they're going to think it's kind of trap or something. So I think try to avoid occult pricing and try to be as open, transparent as possible when it comes to pricing your art, especially on your own website, to the art galleries, to your all of the agents and dealers, so that they know that your price is, the same across all channels, and they can respect your price if you can justify and hold on to it. Okay, that's all I want to say today. The common mistakes when it comes to pricing your art. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.